And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben.
And I'm Kay.
And today we are reviewing Time Cop.
Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, a protagonist's journey through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time.
So Tenet is a film that we've been anticipating to watch for a long time. Obviously, we had COVID and it kept getting pushed back. I think it was pushed back twice. It's also a very highly anticipated because there's a huge amount of fan base when it comes to Christopher Nolan films. Interstellar, Inception, which I think is still my favorite, the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. We have The Prestige. There are Dunkirk. His work is phenomenal, and he's been one of the few directors that's stuck to his guns when it comes to filmmaking, when filming with film. And so he knows his craft very well. So every time he does a film that is very themed with one particular theme, people get excited because we wonder what he's going to do. It always takes us on a ride. We're always wondering how that story is going to develop. Inception is that classic one. Interstellar, again, we don't see the ending coming. Inception, you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're implanting that thought, and it's fantastic, and it's such an adventure. And so if you are on the hype train, you'll be anticipating a review or wanting to know when you can get in it, and depending where you are in the world may mean that you're not going to be able to watch this for some time. Cinemas now are starting to show it, but because of COVID, we had masks on, there was very few people in the cinema. So it's a very different dynamic. This is my first film I've seen in over 5 months at the cinema. And so, the hype train was real. It's a Christopher Nolan film, going back to the cinema, very excited for it. And I have mixed feelings about the film. Which I never expected to say, because I thought I would walk out and go, that's an A+, straight off the bat.
Yeah. I think I probably enjoyed it slightly more than you because I had no expectations at all. And I was not on the hype train. In fact, when we sat down, I said, what genre of movie is this? He's like, have you not even seen a trailer? I was like, I don't know what I'm about to see. Yeah. Which is exactly how I like it.
Okay, so this is a non-spoiler review. A friend of mine who is a radio DJ for a big radio station in Portsmouth tried explaining the plot of the film, or tried explaining the film to his boss, which he found very difficult. So we're going to do our best not to do any spoilers. But it is a difficult one to talk about without doing spoilers. We will do a spoiler review for this. So if you've seen it and you want to talk spoilers, we'll talk about that for you. But for now, it's non-spoiler.
Visually, the film is really quite spectacular. It's ordinary in what it's portraying, but the way that it's portraying is very different, and so it makes it feel completely different. And I thought that it was really cleverly done. I thought the colour palette was excellent for what it was. You had the sort of the reds and the blues that they were sort of going with. And I thought that it was really well filmed. It was really well shot. It was really dynamic. In the way that it moves and tells the story. It's very dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen Inception, then you know what you're getting into with the Christopher Nolan film. Especially with this film. This is the most Christopher Nolan film that you're going to see. Yeah. It kind of ticks all the boxes. What he's good at, he brings to his craft here in this film. And that, I think a lot of people go to the cinema to watch that because they love his creative techniques of how, when he takes a theme like timey-wimey stuff, and this is very timey-wimey stuff, then he plays with that. So Inception, we saw them falling all over the floor and tumbling to the roof, and this one, it's as if you've seen any of the trailers, you'll see how reversed stuff is, and I think I enjoyed it.
So we have to be honest and say that our local cinema just went completely nuts when they did this film, and they blew us away literally with the sound. We were sitting in the cinema with our fingers in our ears. It was so loud. It was like being at a rave and standing right in front of the speaker. Yeah. Our whole bodies were vibrating with the sound. It was completely ridiculous. You couldn't take your fingers out of your ears because it hurt.
I should have gotten up and asked somebody to deal with it, but I didn't want to miss anything because it's one of my most anticipated films, of the year, if not for a very, very long time. and it was
So-
seriously loud. So that did
Yeah.
mar our joy of watching this film.
Yeah, I think it really did, and also made it a little bit more difficult because you've got your fingers in your ears because the music is so loud, but then they're trying to talk, and you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating for us, and I don't know. I mean, let us know in the comments if you go and see this at the cinema. Is that something that is wrong with the film? Like, the music is so much louder than the talking, or is it just that our cinema just?
I was
decided
checking
to
that,
crank up the volume.
I did go and check that we weren't just like a bunch of old vogies, and I asked 3 different people, and they all said their responses to the film was the story was over complex, too complicated for its own good, and ridiculously loud. And they said it various different ways, but from the 20 people we had, so not much, 3 of them felt that, so which I thought was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So the story itself, I think, is a lot of fun, but it does get complicated. You do have to keep your wits about you. And I remember people talking about Inception in the same way. And so if you found it difficult to understand what was going on in Inception, you're really going to struggle here, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think the story is very plain, because it tells you what it's going to do, who the bad guy is, what he's up to, what he wants, but how they go about that, and because of timey-wimey stuff, they keep swapping in and out of moments, and there's so much going on screen that you're trying to follow who's doing what, when they're doing what,
Yeah.
and if they're doing what, or are they going to do what, have they done what yet? And so
I think it's like The Usual Suspects. So The Usual Suspects was a film that I watched, and then it was video back in the day. Hit rewind, watched again immediately. Because I wanted to see, now that I knew the twist, I wanted to see all of the markers along the way. And I think this is a film that you could easily do that with. Once you know the end, you want to go back and you want to see all those crossover moments, all those intersections where things happen simultaneously.
Yeah. I will say that I found the opening incredible. I loved the way it started. It reminded me a little bit of the opening from Dark Knight. It's intense. It gets going straight away. The music is so Hans, very deep, like brrr, that will like reverberate in your bones if the cinema's like cranked up that volume. Although it's not Hans, it's Ludwig, someone who did Creed 2, Black Panther, Mandalorian, so fantastic composer, and I did like the music. I just wished I got to enjoy it more.
Exactly. I wanted to hear it without, bursting my eardrums.
So we can't really talk about this film without talking about the cast.
Yeah.
And I can't really talk about some of the cast because that is also spoilers. They're not in some of the trailers. Suffice to say, the people that we do see, the 2 leads, John David Patterson is a lead I haven't seen, I don't think, and I thought he was fantastic. He was really fresh, really new. And with his kind of partner in this film, Robert Pattinson, who I thought was just brilliant.
He was great.
If you have any qualms about him doing the new Batman, I think after watching this, you'll be like, all right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give him a go.
you can do this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Forgive him for being in Twilight. I think it's time now.
Yes, please.
So
And he wasn't bad in Twilight.
there's
It's
not...
just everything else.
I don't know that there's so much character development. It's more like your characters on a ride and they have to do something. The characters are already established and you get to find out what they're about, what makes them tick as a little bit of the story is revolved, or how they do what they do. You kind of figure out who they are. There isn't a lot of backstory to these characters, but when the story wants you to know more about them, it does reveal that through what's going on. And I've always liked that. It's a very visual film. It tells its story, as the Christopher Nolan's films do, through the visual explosions, through the visualness of, the very clever camera moments that you're obviously going to get. You've seen that in the trailer. You kind of know what you're expecting. There were a lot of those moments in the trailer, unfortunately, for me. I'm glad you didn't see the trailer.
Yeah, no, I hadn't seen it.
But there is obviously still stuff that you're really going to go to the film and go, hey, I didn't see that in the cinema. But I still have my issues with trailers because they reveal so much, or some of the best bits, and I want them to keep most of that outside of the trailer because we so look forward to these Christopher Nolan films because it's a big adventure. So where do I put this? Where do we put this in the Christopher Nolan films? For me, Inception is still number one, my favorite. I think that's just every time I watch it, I enjoy it more. And then there's some other, The Prestige, which I think is fantastic, a different type of film. Then you have the Dark Knight trilogy, which would be lower for me. I enjoy the Batman films, but each of these films are so good. I probably would put this like third in the list.
Yeah.
So it's the most Christopher Nolan film you're going to get. It ticks all the boxes. You will enjoy it. But I wasn't as like, well, hey, this is the best thing since Swiss cheese.
I think it's sliced cheese, but
No.
okay.
We'll say Swiss cheese.
I felt, compared to some of his other works, I felt like this one lacked heart in the story.
Yep.
Because
keep talking.
there was obviously some heartstrings moments, but overall it felt like the whole story didn't have enough gut, heart.
I keep talking about Inception, but it's the closest one I can think about in almost themes.
Right.
And there was a lot more heart. I cared about DiCaprio's character. I cared about the others, even the side characters. And this one, I can't say that I really did. I was just along the ride for what was happening.
Yeah.
There isn't a relationship that they start exploring, but I felt like they needed more of that. I don't know how you could have done it because the runtime is still really long.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long.
Oh.
And there's a lot of, where's that going? Oh, that's going that way. That's going that way. What's happening again? Right, we're watching this film. Is the top still spinning?
Is it?
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
So,
Parasite.
So we don't want to say that we didn't enjoy it, because we did. I think there were just some things that made us enjoy it a bit less.
Yeah.
I think maybe watching it through a few more times, we'll really enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those films where I feel like I still need to get my head around it. I still need to understand exactly what happened and how.
Yeah.
Like
you get it.
Yeah.
But you know the stuff that you don't get.
You get it superficially, but you don't actually understand the mechanics of it. And I think that's frustrating. For someone like me who likes to actually understand stuff and know why things happen the way they do, it can be a bit frustrating.
But if you want to hear us talk about a little bit more in detail about plot bits that we want to talk about, check out our spoiler review. I'm going to give this a B+.
I concur.
Okay, so there it tells you it's a solid film, but it's not A+. I would give Inception A+. So that kind of gives you an idea of where I would rank Christopher Nolan films, I guess. Like I have any right to rank any of these films, But that's just how we feel at the moment. I'm glad we finally get to see it. I'm glad it's out at the cinema. The cinema was a weird ordeal for us. It seems to be going that way a lot. I really hope that View sort out their cinema issues, because we seem to get that a lot with them. Yeah, thanks so much.
I'm going to take earplugs next time.
Yeah, do that. Thanks so much for watching this review. Chat to us in the comments below, but most of all, until next time, remember,
Live long and Tuesday.